Hey, so second part, last little tiny bit here. I'm going over the map portion of this presentation. So when you have your PDSS, you have your maps, right? That is super important to understand what you're looking at. In this PDSS, I did all of the bridges on the Pasig River because that was the river we were going to be closest to, all the way down out to the lagoon. From the Bay of Manila to the lagoon out here. So I want to know where all the bridges are that are at least showing on satellite maps, so that if something happens, I'm not scrambling trying to find a bridge. Because unfortunately, if you're over here and something happens and your airport's over here, you're kind of fudged unless you have actually got air assets available to do pickups at HLZs. So with that being said, I've got several different emblems on the map here. The white and red cross is going to be your HLZs. That shows your boundaries on the north side, southwest side, east side, northwest side. It shows your meters and which side is which. I also attach pictures so that when you're going to it, you know what to look for. This is your entrance. Then you go here and that's what you see, and that is the HLZ that I selected if it is needed. You will see it can be a little sketchy sometimes, right? This is the same thing that I was talking about earlier. This is that HLZ that I was referring to that had the gate you have to negotiate, which is right here. Which when you put it your street view, you have it right here. That right there is very clearly private property, but if it's an emergency, we don't care, right? We're good. We're getting it where we need to go. Obviously, we have our hospitals. This is the one that I personally think was the most appropriate facility for your emergency medicine. They have everything for PCI. They have your balloon pumps. They have all of these super cool, relevant, and modern procedures being done. Cath lab, like I said, PCI right here. They have a bunch of cardiac capabilities. They have advanced technology. They also have an easy to find address, easy name to have to communicate to a driver. You have your city phone numbers for each area that you're calling from. So it's super beneficial to have that. Moving on down here, I have another HLZ here. That's a soccer field. Then we move over here. This has a bridge, so that shows you this is bridge 8. And I have all of my bridges numbered so that if something happens, you're like, oh shoot, okay, that's bridge 6. This must be bridge 7 then, right? So we do all that so that we're communicating. We don't have any redundancy in phrasing, so that if something happens, we know exactly what we're looking for. All right, meet at bridge 2, and bridge 1 to bridge 2 is here. So that's the importance of it. Clarity of communication, and makes it easier for you and your people to navigate. We went to a restaurant that was really reliably good, had good food, was clean, so we marked that, and I made sure that I was able to find it for future reference if I ever went back. Let's see, where we stayed, we have that, so whenever something happens and we need to stay somewhere, we have the ability to attach pictures and multiple coordinates to it. So you'll see here up at the top corner of my screen, just below the Your Data Close and Settings sign over here, I've got two different coordinate styles. I've got the UTM, which is the more reliable and more consistently good coordinate system, and then for airplanes and helicopters, we have your degrees and minutes for them, because they are able to plug that in easier. I have local money changing places where we went to exchange our cash for Philippine pesos. We have the entrance here. Like I said, we have guards. It is mentioned here. Now, I don't want this to sound snobby, because I don't mean it that way, but these guards had very old weapons, and they appeared to be Chinese one-off, cheaper quality firearms, which, while that is still a firearm, still respect it. Just be prepared to understand that that is showing a level of poverty, even for a bank, to afford security that doesn't have modern weapons. So that's kind of what you're dealing with. We had some restaurants and some grocery stores that we found access to. This is next to the bank that we exchanged money. So I put down all the things that they sold, did all that. This sounds funny, but McDonald's was kind of nice. Some of the food that we had the opportunity to eat in Manila was so bad. At least in our area. I'm sure in the fancy upper class areas of Manila they have some bomb food, but this was not that. And having that, American food that you could just kick back for a second, get some calories that didn't taste like, you're dying, and just get your bearings back was a good thing to have just as an emergency kind of, need some quick, fast calories. There it is. So I've got the embassy located here. Basically, I have the address here. I have my numbers. I have the U.S. based number, the international number, and then the Philippine number. I have locations. I have pictures of it so that if anything happened, we knew what to look for. We could show this picture to a driver and say, this is where I want you to take me. United States Embassy, Manila, Roxas Boulevard. And they would be able to know, if they didn't know what the building looked like, they could see it and they would know generally what to do. So we had a mall. There is a lot of stuff in there. This is like one of the largest malls in Asia. It was huge, but super good to have that information. We also had a mall over here, which was the sketchiest place ever. We want to know what we got to deal with. If you come outside and you see this, and you have a lot of people out and about, and a lot of people that are desperate, and I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but you have to understand that when things are tough for people, people make more aggressive and rash decisions. And so putting yourself in a situation where you could be prioritized as a target is really vital to not do. If you get hurt, other people have to take you to take care of you, and that diminishes from your mission. So I put some recommendations for safety on here because we truly did feel like we were being watched in a negative way when we were at that location. It was also super crowded inside. It was like 3 or 4 stories, and there was no way of getting out if a fire or something emergent happened. So keep your head on a swivel and be smart about stuff. So that's the premise of what I'm doing here. So now I'll go ahead and show. We have our shaded relief, so you are able to see, and then we can also add our shaded slope angle shading. That shows your peaks and your valleys very clearly, like you can see it right here. This is a higher part, so you know that you're going to have less flooding in this area, which is vital, again, for obvious reasons. You see your riverbed here. This is a LiDAR, so it's relatively accurate. When you zoom out, you can start to see a lot more of the mountain ranges and a lot more of the topography that Manila and the Philippines boasts. Speaking of natural disasters, this is a active volcano. Recent explosions in October of November. And then another one over here is one of the most active volcanoes in the region. And it is also a tall volcano. So just understanding those risks that are associated with the traveling. Here we have the Philippines information tab. And this is where I put all of the information regarding, I put the screenshot for the floodplains in case I couldn't access it later. I also have my open source intelligence link here, so anybody that has access to that link and access to this mapping software is able to pull up the picture and the document that had the ambassador on it. Since Uber does not service the Philippines, I have the Grab app available and a link for you to download it there. Healthcare for Manila is also important, and I have the Manila Healthcare Services website linked, which is where I got a lot of the information for all of these hospitals here. So, it's good to know. All that information is relevant, and like I said, knowing never hurts. And, you rarely ever see somebody tell you, man, I wish you knew less about this. So I found an opportunity to be super nerdy about something and it be beneficial for other people besides just myself, and I jumped at it. So with that being said, if there is anything that I missed that y'all think I could improve on this, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. If you guys have any upcoming trips that you guys are interested in, and me helping you guys kind of figure out if you need any of this kind of stuff done, please let me know. I'm happy to help with it, even if it's just a touristy trip. I think it could be good practice for me to learn a new region. So like I said, please let me know if there's anything that I can do to make this better, and let me know if there's any way that I can help you guys. I look forward to seeing all of your presentations, and I look forward to hearing from you guys again. Please feel free to comment. Let me know anything that you guys have questions on. Best of luck, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.